Hello, everybody. This is Literary Candy, where we talk about sweet, clean literature. And today we have with us as our guest Tammie Polk, and she is the author of Personal Perspective Project. Welcome to the show, Tammie.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your writing journey?
Hey, well, first and foremost, I am a very brave married homeschooling mother of three girls. Our girls are 14, 10, and 5.
Wow.
Yes, I live in Memphis, Tennessee, born and raised here. I am an author, yes, but I'm also a speaker and business coach, among a whole lot of other stuff. And actually, I began writing at the age of 11. I was in the sixth grade, and I remember it very vividly. My teacher was filling out the nomination form for a Teacher of the Year, and she was struggling to find a word. And I raised my hand and I says, I know what word it is that you're looking for. So I told her what the word was, and she says, okay, you move your desk back here with me. This is your spot for the rest of the year. And from there, she put me into every essay, story contest she could find. And when I graduated from the sixth grade, she told my mother, she said, never stop Tammie from writing. And I held on to that. Most of the times I wrote to entertain my friends, especially in high school and college. I actually wrote my first two novels in college, one of which I published a couple of months ago, and one actually, sadly, that I lost in the rigmarole of life, but that was long before the cloud. So this manuscript was actually typed and printed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Back
So
in the
it
day.
is right. So it is in the deepest beyond. But God willing, I'll come across it again one day. I do know somebody else that had a copy of it. So they have been looking for it. So hopefully they come across it.
Okay.
After that, it was about 14 years before I wrote again. Like I said, just with the rigmarole of life, graduated from college, got married, had kids, just life.
Mm-hmm.
And I started out with a book that was actually a collection of journal entries that I wrote after watching Dr. Phil for 2 weeks straight.
That might do it.
That yeah, that'll do it. And a friend of mine, we were talking on the phone one day, and she says, "Do you know that it's free to publish through Amazon?" And I said, "No, I didn't know that." So she was telling me about the whole process, and I actually found those journal entries and I typed them up, and it was about 50 pages. And I says, "Okay, let's do this thing." And then about midnight, my phone was just going absolutely nuts. So I looked to see what it was, and it was emails from Amazon saying that my book was live. And so I'm like running around my house at 1 in the morning because I'm like, I'm a published author. I'm a
You
published
are an
author.
author.
Yes.
I'm an
Um,
author now.
yes. But since then, since September of 2015, I have written 23
Wow.
books, on life, faith, family, business, and a little bit of fiction.
Now, with all of the things that you're doing homeschooling, how do you keep up? How do you write so much content?
I learned very quickly to use my nights. There are two times during the day in that my home is pretty still and quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And that is at 2 p.m. in the afternoon and at 8:30 at night. So usually, if I do write or I am working on a project, those are the two times of day when I'm able to write uninhibited.
Okay. So, Tammie, why don't you tell us about your latest project, the Personal Perspective Project, hashtag Shade Disguised?
All right, well, here she is in
Okay.
all of her splendiferousness. The reason why this book has two titles is actually because it is two titles.
Okay.
This is my first two-in-one project, and I battled with putting them together because I was like, I says, well, what if I separate them and release them on the same day? But then I realized that they really did belong together. So it is one of my, no, it is my largest work. At just not quite 200 pages, I don't think. Nope, 195. But just to give you a little background of where the book came from, Personal Perspective Project was actually a live video series that I did for a Facebook friend's morning success show.
Mm.
She wanted me to come on, and we went back and forth about different topics. And when I mentioned jealousy, I've just given her a little bit of my background. She was like, "Yes, let's talk about that." So I talk about jealousy in four areas: being the jealous spouse, being a jealous parent, being a jealous coworker, and being a jealous friend.
Mm.
And then the final chapter in that one is how to overcome jealousy. And once I finished the series, it was 5 days. She asked me what was I going to do with it, and I said I'm going to transcribe the videos and turn it into a book. And she was like, "Great, let me know when it comes out." So that's exactly what I did. I transcribed the videos straight from Facebook, and then started the process of taking out all the extra words and the laughing and the crying, because there was some of that, and I was able to get that done. So that's where that one came from. Hashtag Shade Disguise was actually a series of Facebook posts that I wrote on my personal page. I'm just trying to clear my head and my heart about some things.
Hmm.
And what that is, it's 15 things that people will say to us under the disguise of being encouraging or offering sound advice, but there's really a whole lot of shade behind what they're saying.
It
Um,
sounds like what my mom used to call night hacking.
yes. So
Okay.
just to give you an example, the very first one is, "I'm so proud of you." As you know how you have that relative that you haven't seen or you haven't talked to in like 5 years, and then they hear about your accomplishments and they look at you, oh baby, I'm so proud of you. And you're looking at them like, really?
Mm.
No. So I those are things that I talk about, and I do give some personal experiences because I like for people to know and to understand that I'm not just putting something out there. This is something that I've heard. This is something that I've dealt with, and then not only do I address what's being said, I talk to the person that says it and the person that's receiving it.
Okay. So
Um,
who do you think would be the best person to read these two books put together in one?
I would have to say anyone who is struggling with jealousy or trust issues and they're willing to admit that that's an issue. I know that that's kind of a hard thing to do, because even with the other women who were on the panel with me, they really thought that they had a handle on jealousy until until I started to
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. Um, and the reason why I say people that have trust issues is simply because when you have trust issues, you are always wondering if people really mean what they say.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know if you are reacting from being in your feelings or if that person is really throwing shade.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you just want to get a better, really a better understanding of what jealousy is, because it goes so much further than wanting what somebody else has.
Yeah, I think that's a very hard one for a lot of people, whether they be women or men, to admit. Nobody wants to admit that they're jealous or that they see something in someone else that they want, whether it's a physical thing or maybe an aspect of their life or maybe even an attribute that they have that you don't have. So, in your book, can you give us like one thing that you offer as a remedy for this?
Okay, well, with the personal perspective project, as I said, the final chapter is talking about overcoming jealousy. And the my main point there is that you have to realize that you have something rare and precious to offer this world, just like everybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
And that when you take the time to hone in on and perfect that, you won't have time to be jealous of anybody else because you're working on that talent, gift, skill, knack, affinity, whatever you want to call it, and you're developing the tunnel vision that you need to perfect that for what you need to get done in your life.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like sage advice.
Yes. And so with Shade Disguise, the main thing that I want people to understand is that they're not crazy. They're not. And that you are well within your rights to doubt certain things that people say to you
Mm-hmm.
because of how you may have seen them interact with somebody else, or just interactions that you had with them in your own life. So my message of that one is you're not crazy.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to trust your gut.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, Tammie, why don't you tell us about how we can get in touch with you, your social media, your websites, and how we can contact you and ask questions about your books?
Okay, well, first and foremost, uh, at least 16 of my books are available on Amazon, Books a Million, and Barnes and Noble. But to get in contact with me on social media, you can reach me through my author Tammie T. Polk Facebook page, first name spelled Tammie. You can reach me on my website at tammieterrellmompreneurs.com. You can send me a friend request to Tammie Polk. My profile picture is actually an event flyer, but you'll know it's me because my picture's on the flyer.
Okay.
You can find me on Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat, and Periscope with the handle Tammie Terrell MC. Or you can shoot me an email, Tammie at tammieterrellmompreneurs.com.
Okay, Tammie. That's a lot of social media. We should definitely be able to contact you in one of those ways.
Yes.
Thank you, Tammie, for being with us and sharing with us about your book. It sounds like it is something that will benefit almost anybody who has dealt with any of those feelings. And I really believe that it's something that's going to help people. So thank you again for coming on and sharing with us.
And thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. So that is it today for Literary Candy, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching Literary Candy today. Don't forget to like and to subscribe and to check out our website, www.literarycandy.com. And this month we have a sweepstakes for you. It is a super pack of 10 ebooks for Christian women. So check that out, and the link is in the description box. Bye.